got a little deliverance to it back in here.
Yeah.
The shape of this barn is beautiful, and just the lines on it. That's cool.
We're a local vineyard, and it's an unusual vineyard. It's very small, very small yield, and it's on kind of a bench up above the Nicasio Dam, so it gets a tremendous amount of cold wind, as you can see, off the Pacific, and kind of like this, but it's above the fog level. So it's an unusual combination of very cool air and a lot of sun. So there's a lot of photosynthesis happening, so it gets to be a very intense color, and there's no problem ripening the fruit, but it never gets very hot. So, and you swallow or spit outside or whatever you'd like to do, that's no problem. Excuse me.
You've made how many years of this from this vineyard?
I started in 2001. Yeah. The 2001, I just took a tiny amount. I wasn't even sure I was going to like it. And when we bottled it anyway, it's done nothing but improve the bottle, so I have high hopes for what's going to happen with all of it after 5-10 years in bottle.
And what's the retail?
60. Very helpful.
How much of this did you produce?
Oh, it depends entirely on the year.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing in this vineyard is fruit set. We usually divide the vineyard, the produce, it's a 15-acre vineyard. We normally divide it 50-50 with Dutton Goldfield winery. And in 2005, we took the entire production of the vineyard, and we got 4.5 tons off 15 acres.
4.5 tons off
15 acres. And then in 2006, which is this year, we were back to our usual arrangement of taking only half, and we got 17 tons. So in other words, the production of the vineyard went from 4.5 in 1 year to 34, 35 the next year. And even at 35, it's only a little over 2 tons an acre. So it's a very small yielding vineyard.
Is that because of that climatic condition with
the
cool?
Well, that's part of it. The other part of it is just what's called hens and chicks. In other words, the clusters will only have a few fully formed berries. The rest are little tiny shot berries, and that gives the cluster a tremendous concentration of a tremendously larger proportion of skin to juice. So there's just naturally going to be much more extract. So it makes an intense Pinot Noir. It doesn't make a white fruity, Cote d'Ivoire type Pinot Noir. It's just not its nature. So that's the vineyard, in other words. So I'll just open up a couple of things to give you a chance to see some here. I understand it because the vineyard was planted in 1905.
Right.
And it has never been replanted. So, I mean, about a third of the vineyard isn't producing anything at this point. So they have a plan, the Rossi family has a plan now to very slowly and selectively replant using, stock from the original vineyard. So, I mean, that's good. They're not going to change the vineyard. It's just this old head-pruned vineyard on St. George rootstock. They're going to continue all of that. But it's like a lot of those old vineyards. I mean, you just couldn't sell the fruit to anybody. Nobody cared for a long time. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, most of the old vines in California just were lost and plowed under just by inattention, by different fads in winemaking. So it wasn't Cabernet Sauvignon or something. You couldn't sell it for a price that was reasonable. I mean, when I was first started buying the fruit from the Rossies, they were selling it to Gallo for $300 a ton. I mean, it costs about $400 to harvest it.
The chances are when it was planted in the early 1900s, it was probably just diverse stuff for personal.
Yeah, nobody gave a damn about all this.
They were just making something for themselves.
Oh yeah, or you were making it even for sale. I mean, it wasn't the thing that it now is. I mean, you would simply go over to a friend's vineyard whose wine you like to take some cuttings. I mean, I'm sure it was an Italian family that planted it, that part of St. Helena. And we don't know who planted it, the current owners bought it in the 30s. But I'm sure they just went over to a friend's vineyard and took some cuttings. And
started going.
Yeah. And when I first started taking the fruit, I thought it was important to sort of try to separate all that stuff out. And so we separated it out, fermented it separately, and all that stuff. Absolutely wasn't worth doing, much better all put together.
Any difficulty with all the different varietals getting all right at the same time?
Not really, no, that's the problem in the vineyard, but it's the geology that's the problem, it's not the varietal at all. So, I don't know, there's a part of the vineyard that is really hard. We sometimes have to, we have, in fact, on occasion, had to harvest it at 2 different times. But it's not plant by plant, there's just a section.
It's region, area by area.
Yeah, so, yeah, it is interesting.
The original Orion came from what vineyard?
Well, the vineyard that it came from, that I bought it from 1986 through 1990 was the last release from that vineyard. That was a vineyard that was owned by a guy named Arthur Schmidt, and then the vineyard was bought by Clark Swanson and ripped out. So that's where it is. It's kind of right in back with Mustard, so Highway 20.
Yeah, okay.
You know, Yountville, you're right at Bricks, and it's kind of between Bricks and Mustard, and it's kind of back. You can kind of see the old house back there. That's where it was. But it's completely, there's nothing, no trace remaining of the original vineyard. So, which was too bad. So if you guys have any questions or anything, just let me know though. Chicago, I think it'd be equally as long. It's kind of bizarre. No, I don't get a chance to travel much at all at this point. I really don't. I should notice it just with the price. Wow. I really do work pretty much 7 days a week. I'm just likely to be my office is just upstairs. So I'm pretty much just likely to be there as anywhere on Sunday. So traveling is not happening much, which is too bad. It's really a change.
Well, thank you for your time, Sean.
Well, sorry I had to spend so much. I'm just sitting out there in the lot. That was ridiculous.
Pretty spot anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Gorgeous.
You got to admit what a ridiculous combination of things. I mean, this morning my cell phone suddenly stops working. I mean, I was trying to call you, and it just says not allowed. Whatever that means, I have no idea. It just says not allowed, so I can't make calls, and apparently can't receive them. And then, it really is the first time in history that I've ever actually bought a calendar that's wrong. I mean, that is a fluke. I mean, you guys, anything you can count on.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
They only have one job with that.
well, exactly. I mean, you can't get that right. And I was sent to me by my label printer, so it doesn't give you a lot of confidence. But I just couldn't believe it at first, because this woman at Dentos Fast, where I get my bottles from, she said, well, we're going to look on Tuesday. I forget what date she had. I looked at my calendar and said, wait a minute, it's not Tuesday. And I wanted to make sure they got there on Tuesday, not, on Monday, because that was Labor Day. So I immediately, faxed her back across the. She said, no, you're crazy. And then I, checked my computer, and the computer at least had the date right. So, because when you email that, okay, well, what the hell, Saturday morning.
Oh, I know, you said, okay, if you guys want to drink at 8:30 in the morning, that's fine with me.
Yeah. Okay, fine, Saturday, what the hell, I'm here anyway. So when Bob came down and said that you guys were up there, what the heck, I had no clue. Wasn't in any way.
Someone said thank you, by the way. I kind of walked up that way.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
coming out
Just
fast,
having
and I think I
one
scared the hell out of him.
Oh, yeah, well, he's very reclusive, he's a poet.
He's a poet.
Huh? Yeah,
Okay.
he's a poet. That's right, he's on a big editorial job now for Stanford University Press on a collection of poetry by another poet, so he's very much goes to the grindstone also.
Very sweet guy. I mean,
Oh,
he
he's very
was
nice.
very concerned about you.
Yeah, I know. Well, he probably was if the cell phone wasn't working and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not late for appointments, so that he probably wasn't. He's used to that. He had not being someplace that was supposed to be.
He was concerned.
Not characteristic at all. So.
Because he wanted to drive down there. We said, that's all right. He said, no, I'm going to go down there.
Yes, that's good.
I see the beehive out there. You harvest your own honey?
Yes, someone right there. Yeah. Yeah, they're very happy bees, I think.
You gonna get your bottle?